Good morning, students. Today we are going to be solving quadratic equations by graphing. So I'm on page 117 to take notes. And what we're doing today is solving quadratics. By graphing x, by graphing our x values. So we're going to solve the quadratics by graphing our x. So let's do a quick review because we've done something similar, and today is going to be actually a little bit easier than what we did before. So if you remember, if you're asked to find the zeros, what the zeros are is the zeros are the x-intercepts. The zeros are the x-intercepts. It's where the quadratic equation, where the quadratic function crosses the x-axis. So if you had something like x squared minus 4 equals 0, the way you could find your zeros is you can do, there's two perfect squares that are subtracted. So I have x plus 2 and x minus 2, right? The square root of x is x times x. The square root of 4 is 2 times 2. And if I do a plus and minus, it's going to end up being this. So I now have x plus 2 equals 0 and x minus 2 equals 0. So here I have x equals negative 2. And here, if I were to add 2, I have x equals positive 2. So there's my zeros, negative 2 and 2. So if I were to graph this, I would know that I have a negative 2 and a positive 2. I know that it crosses those two. I also know that it's positive, so it's going to go up. So I'm going to go. So I can graph this using finding my zeros. Now, there's an easier way to find your zeros, and that would be to use a calculator. And that's what we're going to be doing today. It's just graphing. We're going to find our zeros with the calculator. So if your calculator's off, on button, and then what we need to do is we need to find a y equals. So we need to set up our equation in a y equals. So let's take the same equation. X squared minus 4 equals 0. Well, I need to make this a y equation. So, well, here we are. Y equals x squared minus 4. What's my c value? Well, it's 0, so I could just leave it like this. Or if I wanted to, I could put, oh no, that is my c value right there. So I have y equals x squared minus 4. So I take that, and I go here, and I go x squared minus 4. So there is my equation, my y equals x squared minus 4. Y equals x squared minus 4. And then I hit graph. Boom. And then it's going to show me my graph, and it should cross through negative 2 and positive 2. So there it is. Negative 2, positive 2, and then on my y-axis, I actually have 1, 2, 3, 4, negative 4, which makes sense because there's my c value, negative 4. So I look at this, and I graph it just like it looks like in the calculator. Pretty straightforward, right? All right, so there goes 1. Now, let's check another example. What if I have, so this is example number 1. Now we're going to go example number 2. So example number 2. Let's say I have x squared minus 2x plus 1 equals 0. Well, if I wanted to write this in a y equals format, it's simply y equals x squared minus 2x plus 1. Now, can I find my zeros by factoring? I totally can. This would be x minus 1 times x minus 1, and that would get me there. So if I did x minus 1 times x minus 1, so I know that I know where my zeros are. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and plug this in to my calculator. And I'm going to say y equals x squared minus 2x plus 1. And now I'm going to graph it. So I know I have my blue. That was my last one. So don't forget that your blue is your last one. You already did that one. So red is mine. Oh, and look at that. I only have one x-intercept. It's 1. My x-intercept is 1. So when I graph this, my x-intercept is 1 right there. Now I also have a y-intercept of 1. There's my y-intercept of 1. You can see it right there. So there's my graph. It's symmetrical, so I can put that one right there. That's it. So this one actually only has one point where it hits the x-axis. So, some would say it's 2 because it comes down, hits it, and goes up and hit it, but it hits it in the exact same spot. So for this one, our zeros or our x value is 1. For this one, we have x equals 2 and x equals negative 2. Okay, so there's example 1, there's example 2. And now let's check out a third example. Let's look at a third example. Example number 3. So we have 2 x-intercepts. We have 1 x-intercept. You guys see a pattern. If I have x squared minus 3x plus 5 equals 0. Well, first I have to change it to the y equals x squared minus 3x plus 5. So there's my equation. I can't factor this very easily. Actually, I can't factor this. So I'm glad I get to use a calculator for this one. So and let me show you another calculator that you could use with this equation. So we have x squared minus 3x plus 5. Another calculator you could use would be Desmos. So here we have Desmos, and let's see, we're looking for x squared minus 3x plus 5. So we're looking for this one. Hey, interesting. Look at that. There are no x-intercepts. There are no x-intercepts. So this one that we're looking at, see how this purple line does not cross our x-axis? So this one has no solutions. There are no x-intercepts for this one. So if we look here, if we go back here and we clear these and we put it in, same thing, x squared minus 3x plus 5. And then we graph it. We see that the graph, the quadratic, ends up way up here. And we have no solutions. There's no place where it crosses the x-axis. So there are no solutions. No solutions. Now, can we graph it? Well, sure we can. We can graph it. It's up here. It crosses the y-intercept is 5. So it goes something like that, but there are no solutions. All right. That is your lesson for today. So let's check out a couple of these. I don't know if you feel like you have to go through these problems with me. You can do them on your own, but here we go. I'll just take these. I want to go ahead and put them in the calculator. I'm going to clear out my calculator so I know which one I'm dealing with. X squared plus 4. So what I want you to show in your work is, first I want you to show y equals x squared plus 4x. Ooh, I almost missed the x on this. x squared plus 4x. It would have been a totally different graph. So write it out, put it in your calculator, graph it, or Desmos calculator, that's fine. Either one works for me. And then you're going to write your zeros. So here's your zeros. I have -1, 2, 3, 4. So I have x equals -4. And put it in here, and 0. X equals 0. So it crosses at 0. 1, 2, 3, 4. Crosses at 4. And then it looks like according to this, we have -2. -2. Looks like we have that. And we know this is our axis of symmetry, right? Because it has to be directly in between there. So our vertex has to be on that line. But that's all we have to do. Just graph it and then write it in on here. X equals -4, x equals 0. All right, let's do one more. These are pretty easy. I don't say that often, but these, using the calculator, pretty straightforward. So first step, write it in a function, y equals x squared plus 6x plus 9. Second step, clear your graph out, clear your y values out, and then let's put this in. X squared plus 6x plus 9, and then we'll graph it. And so we have, oh, look at that. We have 1 point, x equals -3. So for this one, we have x equals -3. So this one, we only have 1 point. Our y value is 9, so it's way up here. So it looks something like that. So there you go. That's how you're going to do it. And then after that, you're going to go in and do, oh, well, hold on it. Let me show you these over here. So here, you're going to find the zeros of the function. Oh my gosh, where are the zeros? Oh, okay, here's our function. So I could put it in here, but what it's going to give me is this graph right here. So, well, gosh, I already know my zeros. So I have x equals 0 and x equals 1. Find your zeros. There's your zeros. Don't forget, like I forgot, to put a box around your answers. Okay? Let's check out another one. How about this one? Where are our zeros? Looks like our zeros are at x equals -2. And this one looks like x equals 0.5, or if you put 1/2, that's the same deal. So we're just finding our zeros. That's it. Here we're going to approximate to the nearest tenth. Okay, so that's about half, so 4. So x equals 0.4. And here x equals 2.6. Looks like the middle point is there. It looks like it's just over from the middle point. So if I broke this into 10 lines, I'm guessing this would be about the 6/10. So 2 6/10. There you go. So since this homework is pretty straightforward and we're using calculators, you're going to do 1 through 18 in the student journal, and then you're going to do the worksheet puzzle time, 4.2 puzzle time. All right. Enjoy this lesson.